Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the personal months for April 2023. We're also going to take a look at the forecast for the new moon and the full moon for April, which also includes a solar eclipse at the end of the month. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you in advance for commenting, liking, and sharing to help my little channel to grow and to help spread the word about numerology. I see you. I appreciate you. You all are the best. This, of course, is a general reading. If you would like a personal reading where we'll take a deep dive into your own personal numerology, go ahead and book some time with me. You can find my information in the link below. Okay, so April 2023 is a 11-2 universal cycle. So the universal cycle affects all of us. We will feel that in some way. I'm going to break it down to the personal month forecast in just a moment, but let's take a quick look at the influences of the universal cycle so that we can understand how these all play together. The 11 energy here can bring additional challenges. So we have an eclipse again at the end of the month, but these challenges are always assisting us in moving towards bigger, more beautiful triumphs that leave us feeling inspired and hopefully doing more of what inspires us rather than leaving us feeling uninspired for too long. That's the goal anyway, right? Of 11 energy. So whenever you are experiencing self-sabotage, expect the 11 to put the pressure there. Okay, especially this month. The energy of the 2 brings the opportunity for healing, balance, reconciliation, mediation, seeing others' perspectives with an open mind and an open heart, and finding it easier to see eye to eye. Past relationships could resurface to be healed, especially I would say towards the end of the month, energetically or in the physical. So it doesn't mean that you have to bring this person back into your life in the physical. You can do a lot of this work energetically so that you're releasing those lower vibrations, right? Anything that you're sort of holding on to, burdens, grudges, judgments, whatever. This energy of the 2 helps to alleviate that. We have to do the work, but it gives us the opportunity or helps to highlight where it is that we can put that focus. New relationships and soul contracts can come rushing in this month, so be open to who you meet. Don't, discredit someone or dismiss someone too quickly. Emotions and emotional maturity will also be highlighted. Pay attention to when and why you're reaching some kind of trigger point, right? Or you're reacting versus responding to someone or something. Those triggers are guideposts to be sure that you'll investigate them further, right? Or asking you to investigate them further. This could be a month where a lot of decisions need to be made, a lot of big decisions. So trusting yourself to make those decisions as well as to move through any consequences, good or uncomfortable, of those decisions, right? That stem from those decisions. Being overly critical of yourself or others serves no one. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and break it down by each personal month now. Personal month 9. If April is a personal month 9 for you, then this energy is going to work really beautifully with the collective energy of the 11-2. What I mean by that is the 9 energy is really going to bring in sort of the themes around humanitarianism, right? Like, being very forgiving, having compassion, sort of giving of your time, energy, resources when you can, right? You, of course, need to check in with yourself and make sure that you are capable of doing that, body, mind, spirit, before overextending yourself. However, it's really going to ask you to sort of shift your focus more so to the greater good, the all, as opposed to just self. And so it's really going to sort of bring in themes that require or ask of you to be more selfless, more like giving, more paying it forward type of energy. But really, again, because this is sort of a shorter cycle, right? Month long. Really what you can probably expect is, especially with that overarching energy of the 11-2, is that there's going to be situations where you're really going to have to sort of swallow your pride and be the bigger person, to create harmony where there's discord, to bring justice where there's injustice, to make amends, or to forgive, or to release judgment, resentment, etc. Whether or not the other party or parties, right, other people involved, show up in the same way. So the 9 energy is going to sort of ask you to elevate, to step out in a way that might be outside of your comfort zone, right? Where, again, if you're holding a grudge and you're holding on to it tightly, this energy is going to put pressure on that. And it's going to say, what is this worth to you? What is it worth to you to hold on to this anger, this frustration, this resentment, this judgment, whatever? What is it worth to you? Is it worth your own peace, your own sanity, your own enjoyment, right? To be really so strongly focused on whatever this is. So this is going to be a really potentially big month for releasing those things that aren't serving you, releasing the things that are holding you back, that are holding you down. You can also see this energy come in as completion. So again, things closing out, cycles closing out, karmic cycles closing out, connections closing out, soul contracts closing out. But the purpose of that is, and again, when that happens, we need to find a way to release whatever that is and grieve it, or move through the emotions that surfaced from it. But we do need to allow it to go, right? Because it's sort of this evolutionary process of out with the old, in with the new. New things will come in to take that space. And what comes in is at the same vibration that you are, right? It's now the next chapter type thing. So the 9 energy assists us in finishing a chapter and then moving towards starting the next one. So just be mindful of that. The other thing with the 9 energy that's significant is this is more of a receptive energy. Yes, it's the humanitarian. Yes, it's showing up for others in a very sort of giving way and a compassionate way and all of that, right? But as far as going after your goals and achieving and striving and all those things, this is a softer energy. It's a slower energy. It's going to ask you to fall more into receptive mode. And what that means is you've already created your web and now you're allowing the nutrients to come to you type thing. So you've already put forth the effort. You are turning it over now to the unseen to do its part. So there is this element of releasing control. So if there's an area of your life where you're not seeing progress, you're not seeing things move, and you're just really clinging to it so tightly and trying to control the outcome, you'll probably find that that's the area that you need to sort of surrender to, release, and let the universe or God or whatever do its part, right? So because that's when you're trying to force something and you're not seeing something be returned, it's because it's not yours to control, right? You've done everything that you can do. And so now it's you become the receiver. You are now waiting for the gifts to come to you, waiting for whatever this is to come to you. Then you can decide what you want to do with it. So this is a very receptive energy. So kind of keep that in mind, especially if there's an area where you're really pushing or trying to force. Very rarely do good things come from what is forced, right? So usually what we get are more challenges. So if you're pushing and you're not seeing any give, then fall back into receptivity mode, see what the universe sends you, because that's what you're meant to work with. Now, on the 6th of April, we do have a full moon. For you all, this is bringing in the energy of the 8. So for you, this could bring, because full moon, culmination, completion, that sort of thing, shining a light on something that either needs to end or really needs to have your attention or needs to be the focus. So for you, it's bringing in the energy of the 8. So this is very much career, money, resources, status, power, lots of power struggles potentially coming up around April, right? For everybody. Because in astrology, there's a lot of strong Pluto aspects. But in numerology, with the 8, very much heavy emphasis on power, equalizing power, justice, bringing justice to where there is injustice type thing, status, your place in the world and what you do with that place in the world, and empowerment in all of these things, right? So for you, there may be something coming in that's completing or closing out that has to do with money, resources. It could be a closing out of money struggles, right? Or a poor mindset around money, and now you see a shift in that. Or it could be changes to your finances that force you to sort of look at better ways to manage your money. Or it could be a shift in a career that changes your financial situation. Could be buying or selling a house. Could also be settlements. Could also be inheritance especially around a full moon. Again, with closures, completions. Could be somebody that sort of passes over, right? Transcends. And then there's some kind of inheritance or settlement with that that takes place. And then again, creates a shift in your finances. So a lot of these themes kind of circulating around this full moon. Definitely the power struggle thing though. So if there's some area of life where you have been giving your power away, where you feel like others have been in control of you, or, trying to sort of silence you or mute your voice, that sort of thing, this energy is going to help to reinvigorate you, to step into your power, to reclaim your power. And again, because it's in conjunction with the 9 energy, there could very much be something here around being the bigger person, forgiveness, that sort of thing. But that does not mean that you tolerate poor behavior, right? Like you can always release that person, that experience, and then, find your way to forgive it in a healthy way. So a lot of these themes could be coming up. Don't worry, the energy will show you exactly what you need to focus on. Let's see if there's anything else I want to say about the 8 energy. The other thing is like maybe leadership. There could be something around leadership that you're being asked to step into. That can be within your home, that can be within a career or whatever, or just taking the lead within your own life and the direction that you want to take your life into, right? And sort of taking responsibility and accountability for what you're meant to, right? Could all come in under 8 energy. Also, I will say taking a risk. 8 energy, there's a lot of like risk taking with that energy, with the understanding that not all risks have a huge payout. Sometimes there's big losses. So understanding that, and if there's something you feel like you need to take a risk with, not setting yourself up for failure with big expectations, but understanding, I'm going to take this risk. I feel good about it. However it turns out, I'll work with it. I'll figure it out, right? Because with every risk, there's a 50-50 chance, right? But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't take them. Of course we should take them when it feels right. So you might find that come in as well. And anything that sort of comes in this month for you around the full moon or the new moon, because you're in a 9 cycle, there really is something here about how can I circulate this? How can I regenerate this in a way that it's not only serving me, but it's serving others. It will have a bigger impact to help others in some way. And because it's 8 energy at the full moon, there's something here about empowerment, power, that sort of thing. So how can I empower myself, but then also help to empower and inspire others as well? Okay, and then we have the big one on the 20th, and that is the new moon, which is also a solar eclipse. Now, whatever kind of transpires or comes up for you around this new moon is often initiations, new starts, big new beginnings type thing. Because it's an eclipse, it's a progressive unfolding, typically probably for the next 3 to 6 months. So you're not going to know exactly what you're working with. You're not going to have all the moving parts just yet, but they're going to unfold for you. And you're going to have an indicator, right? You're going to understand kind of like, okay, this is the theme. This is the direction that I'm moving into. Because you're in a 9 cycle this month, again, this is not necessarily going to be something that you would initiate right now, because remember, you're in sort of a more receptive mode, but this is great for planning. So absolutely, this is a great time around this new moon to start planning because you're also working with 13-4 energy around this new moon. So a great time for planning, for getting serious, for getting organized, for being very realistic, right, about your limitations. Who do you need to call in to assist? How can you make this happen? 4 energy is patient. It's going to take time to complete. Whatever you start at this time, again, is going to take time. It's going to unfold progressively over a period of time. So not a lot of instant gratification with this. It's also 13 energy. So again, a lot here around transformation, change, seeing a vision and building towards that vision. And what's beautiful about this and how it works so beautifully with the 9 energy and the 11-2, right, the overarching energy, is 13 energy is like the lotus flower. It's going to see a vision in something that's not so beautiful and make something beautiful, right? So the lotus flower, you plant it in the mud and it, after a while, right, patience, it sprouts this beautiful bloom. And so for you, whatever it is that you're building, whatever it is that you start around this eclipse, you are meant to continue with it, persevere, keep going. But there needs to be integrity behind it, and not everyone is going to understand the vision, but it's absolutely meant to build something really beautiful from something not so beautiful. And to be very serious about, again, your limitations and how you can overcome those limitations, what that looks like, and what you're working with. But again, you're working with these sort of very like high level, very like integrity based energies of the 9, the 13, 13-4, right? So the 8. So there's definitely something here this month that's going to be with you for the next 3 to 6 months with this eclipse that you're meant to build or create or be a part of, that is meant to have a tremendous amount of integrity behind it. This is very selfless energy. Not to say that you overlook or neglect self. It's not what we're saying, but just be mindful of that this is whatever it is that comes in for you this month is in some way meant to serve a greater purpose, something bigger than self. So kind of keep that in mind with whatever transpires and whatever it is that you feel drawn towards this month. Big, big energy if you are in a personal month 9 during this eclipse. So beautiful though. So I hope it's a fantastic month for you all. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.